All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Special session for Monday, July 21st at 5:35 p.m. Everybody rise for the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless this meeting today. Help us make good decisions that are going to benefit our city, our citizens, and our businesses. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. There are no formal announcements today. I'm not sure where Cynthia is. She may be working late at cutting it up. Monday sometimes can be a little busy for her. And Kathy has been working very, very hard at the fire station, so she is tired, and we've got a quorum, so we're fine. We're going to let her go to bed early and get some rest. So we appreciate all she does.
I know she has been.
There's no citizens here, so we don't have any citizens input. So we're going to move right on to number 6, item 6, to discuss and or take action on the EDC sponsorship of the Cotton Patch Challenge, September 20th, 2025. So on your agenda, I gave you kind of the background for those who are not aware of this bicycling event. It's the largest charity event in Hunt County. It is the 29th year. The bicyclists start up in Greenville. They come down the east side of Hunt County. They have a stop in Lonoke. They come across a 2-mile bridge. They have a stop at our chamber building for refreshments and, pulling it all back together. And then they head all the way down, back up 34 Wesley into Greenville. All the money goes for charities around the property. Around Hunt County, mostly up in Greenville. So I'm going to give each side of the table. I apologize, my printer is starting to run out of ink, so we're going to share and look at these real quick. This is a flyer that they've done. We have sponsored this in the past. In 2023, we gave $2,250, and that's verified in the bank account. In 2024, we had budgeted $1,000, and it says that 0 was given. So the Cotton Patch says we gave them $2,500 last year. Our bank account doesn't show any of that money going to them. I'm going to be honest with you, and I bought this notebook. This is the notebook that was kept, and this contains all the records from August 2021 through December 2024. Lots of records are kind of missing, if you can imagine that. So I don't think you found anything in the bank accounts for the $2,500. Regardless, this year they are asking for us to help with the sponsorship as we have in the past. The starting stage sponsorship you will see on the second page will give us the ability to get promotion for our city to the businesses starting up in Greenville. So for the starting stage sponsorship, we get, you see on the list there, they'll make a banner for us. It'll be at the starting spot, so everyone up in Greenville will know that the city of West Tawakoni and its EDC is supporting and promoting things that involve the entire county. Because we are asking for Brian Toole and other business representatives in the county to help send businesses down here. And Brian is great, and our county commissioners are great, and we need them to know that we are part of one county, and rather than having businesses continue to develop and grow up in the north side of the county, we want them to come down here. So I think a $1,600 sponsorship gets us that big banner up there. It gets our city advertising on the radio. It gets us the banner thanking our police and our fire department and first responders down here. And we get a logo on the event banners. We get the logo at the start and the finish on the arch uprights. We get prominent placement in their advertising. We get prominent placing in their website with a piece in its narrative. We get 4 complimentary registrations for the Cotton Patch Challenge. A participant list is available for marketing if we want to get the list of the people who are all participating that we can market to them. And we get our logo on all brochures, which we have already voted and decided that any logo we use is the city's logo because we are promoting the city, not the EDC. So we don't need a separate logo. So you don't want to talk about this? Or you want me to just move it to a vote?
What did you say now? You said something about what, 1,500 you want to
Six-
give or
1,600. To do 1,600.
1,600.
Because I want us mentioned on the radio ads.
Yeah,
I want us
yeah.
I want our city's logo on all those banners.
So my question is not about this event, because it's healthy. Anything that's healthy in a sport, pretty much is that stuff. You always have me on that one. But as far as 2 things, one, I think we need to adapt ourselves within our own community, some type of metrics system that we use for this type of stuff. I mean, I know it would cost a ton of money to get detailed metrics, but we got to have something. Say, we put this amount of money towards this. We think our ROI is coming back to us based upon something.
I think someday that's something we can look at doing. Right now, what we have, and I'm just going to be really plain spoken. Right now, what we have is a reputation as being the city that has a drug problem, a crime problem, and gaming problem.
So
our reputation is not very good.
right.
And then we have a lot of people online who do all this kind of bashing and things that hurt not only the look of our city, but it also hurts all of the businesses that are here.
Yeah, I know.
So we have a lot of businesses because of what people do on their websites and the Facebook and everything else. We've got a lot of people who don't want to come down here. So I don't know that we're going to get a metric on something like this yet. All I know is that when we do something like this, it improves our perception.
It certainly can't hurt, and I certainly don't have a price for the dollar getting on the radio and all that stuff. So it seems like a no-brainer no matter what. Just something that clicks in my head says we should gotta have something that says something, because otherwise I feel guilty. And the second part would be, again, Gary, when I hear it on the radio, that's great, but what's our tagline? Because if our tagline is just West Tawakoni, you know what? I know what the second thought is. And the second thought is all the reasons you just gave, so I'm not sure exactly how well.
Our tagline is that we are the catfish capital of Texas.
Right.
Some of the people out there that are advertising about the lake itself are calling the lake the catfish capital of Texas. That's not true. The city of West Tawakoni is actually one of the only cities that has had the opportunity that years ago someone went to the Texas legislature and they actually voted and passed that it is our city that is the catfish capital of Texas. So that's our tagline.
We need to get that. So when we have people talk about it, we do any kind of marketing, we somehow need to get that point across. I mean, anything better than we have a Facebook page that says stupid stuff. So I mean, I'd like you to just say but again, you're right. I was looking maybe for something else, coming in, because we got all these sports coming in. You know what I mean? With the city park, we could be saying activities destination area for Hunt County or something. You know what I mean? Or maybe down the road. So here's something we need to start working on and developing: is how can we increase the statement of our tagline? Is it more impacting, and is it real? And is it something we can just walk up and say to anyone just like that and be proud of it?
Well, I think we can do that with what we have, but we do have to be promoting it. So I agree with that. So we can put that on a future agenda.
Yeah, I'm just
to address it some.
stuff. So yes, I already voted yes. So.
All right. So, and the other thing I was going to talk to you about that's on here is whether or not we want to designate any money for water, snack foods, and everything. And I'm not gonna suggest we do that tonight because the Rotary has apparently a plan for what they provide. So I'm getting meeting after that.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll take that up at a later meeting. So I would entertain a motion that we approve the $1,600 sponsorship for the Cotton Patch Challenge, September 20th, 2025.
You're good, Adam. Play it out there.
Right. You haven't seconded anything yet.
I'm still learning the language.
Who's it, Larry, you making the motion?
Yeah, I make a motion.
All right.
All right, who seconds?
I'll
Go.
second.
Go for it.
There we go.
All
Everybody
right,
in favor?
and everyone vote?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. So let's go on to number 7. I'm going to provide you now with an update.
And I was just gonna ask, are we gonna, set us up a table up there at the chamber?
I am going to work to get us permission to do that. And we had already voted. We have tents already on order, and I have a canopy already on order with the city's logo.
Got you. Thank you.
So, and if we come back and provide snacks and all, and we can do that, when I'll be coming back to talk to you guys about is maybe purchasing small snack sample food items from our new Chow Camp trucks to be able to have there. But I've got to go back to the Rotary to get permission on that, and that'll be my next meeting, now that we've approved this, when I take them to check. All right, number 7. Let's talk very quickly about, I don't know how quick, I tend to be wordy, but about the HCEA luncheon that's being held on October 2nd at the Lone Oak Civic Center. We have already approved that we are going to be participating in that, as we have in the past. And that's where the county judge, all the county commissioners, city personnel, our mayor is speaking. We are all invited. I would like everyone who could be there to be there. Mary's going to be introduced, and so she is going to have a brief speaking moment. We're going to get to meet, new city administrator for Quinlan. Every one of the superintendents for the schools in South Hunt County will be speaking. So that'll be Bowles, Quinlan, and Lone Oak. And what I wanted to get a vote on today is we made a decision at the meeting that I had with the other 2 EDC leaders that we're going to do a best barbecue challenge for that luncheon. So we are going to actually have Soul Man's Barbecue from Quinlan, representing Quinlan. Lone Oak has a barbecue place that's going to be representing them. And we have not 1, but 2 trucks now at Chow Camp that do barbecue. So at the time I wrote the agenda up, you'll notice that I said Southern Smoked Goodness. Well, I want to tell you, I did not know at that time that Common Snacks on Wheels also does barbecue. So we want both of those gentlemen, both of those food trucks represented. I've had a meeting with both of them, and they're very excited and they want to do this. So what I'd like to do is, let's talk about this. I think the best way, and what I'd like to do, is for us to purchase the brisket. We'll purchase a 17-pound brisket, 15 to 17 pounds of good meat. I'm not telling you where it's coming from, Debbie. We're going to get good meat.
Can you tell me later?
And we'll give each of them that brisket to cook. And then Dwight White at Common Snacks on Wheels is going to provide California baked beans. And Robert Monroe of Southern Smoked Goodness is going to provide apple pie baked beans. Both of them want to come and be physically present at the luncheon to be able to represent their food. And they are extremely excited about kicking some butt of the other 2 cities and us winning.
Well,
So it's a good promotion for them. I can't put a dollar amount on that. You can know approximately what that's going to be. We're going to pay for beans, and not that much, and pay for their time cooking it, and we supply the meat.
so what's the bigger event on October 2nd? The overarching event
The overarching event is the meeting
for economic alliance?
for the Hunt County Economic Alliance. That's all of your Chamber of Commerce's, your EDCs, your principals. They're inviting Judge Stovall, who's our county judge, all the county commissioners, and the city representatives from Lone Oak, West Tawakoni, and Quinlan. So all three mayors will be present, their administrators will speak, as EDC presidents will speak. I will talk about the city, and I'll be able to tell them about our new business and really focus on promoting this.
I think that's great because barbecue can bring lots of outsiders in if it's good barbecue. I know the one in Lone Oak, I know for sure has a huge following of people that drive all over the place to get it. So
I'm one of them.
if you can grab that, then it's worth every dollar for the city, in my opinion.
Like Saturday, I had people get delivered meat. So I just so happened to have done a 14.7 pound pork shoulder over the weekend for the fire department. I was scared because of my first try to do something that big, but I guess it came out awesome. So,
Nailed it.
but no, he smelled it. You just get the smell out there in the neighborhood. All my neighborhood, people are just walking by all over the place. I smelled that last night. What are you still doing this morning? It's a big one.
And in the same context, because this goes with this agenda item, I do want to take just a moment to remind all of us on the EDC board that when we have a business here, like Chow Camp, and we go in, we're very excited and we're very supportive of that business. We don't ever want to pick one over the other. So that's why we want both of these trucks to do the barbecue, to be able to both compete and be able to present this food. And the other thing is that with a startup business, one of the things they are offering a lot of times is a discount. So when you go out to purchase, they'll say, you know, Robert or Dwight might say, well, for all city employees, it's a 20% discount. Or for EDC board members and committee members, we're offering a 20% discount. I'm going to encourage all of you here on the EDC to not take that discount. If they're offering a discount, you know, for the fire department, and both of you work on the fire department, that because that's a bigger thing, you can do that. If they offer a discount for the community, you can do that. But for our role on the EDC, because we use tax dollars to then fund, promote, and help businesses, we don't want a situation where somebody goes, oh, well, you know, Donna, you got a 20% discount from Southern Smoke Goodness, so therefore that's why you turned around and you gave them the barbecue business rather than giving it to me, so it looks like a bribe or something on that effect. And so we just don't want to do that. We kind of want to, you know, be held to a standard where nobody can question any of our motives.
And we want to see the business survive.
Yeah,
Right.
you want to
That's
give
right.
them that. You want to give them that 20%.
I don't know
So
what the,
every little bit counts.
Yeah, I don't know what the margin
Absolutely.
is on food, but it's if it's 20%, then they need that 20% to be their profit,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
And but they can use tips. So pay for their food and also pay for a tip if you can. All right. So the chair would entertain a motion for us to do this for the best barbecue challenge and use our two food
Oh, yeah.
trucks.
Absolutely.
So making a motion, Rhett?
Oh yeah, I'm making a motion, Brett Byers,
I second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
and we all have to show up to, of course, try it and vote, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't know. I'm telling you, Duncan's gonna be hard to beat.
Not really when I twist your arm. Okay.
I got 5 weekends of ribs, and my wife's saying,
All right, so now we'll move on to item number 8, and we do need to move forward with this because I need to get these printed and I need to have them done because we have the Cotton Patch Challenge coming up, we have this event coming up, and we need to be able to have these brochures ready to go. All of you have seen and know the original kind of what we stood and we moved forward on. So my printer is almost out of ink. So what I'm going to do is hand you a copy of the not official one, and I already dropped one off for you. I'm going to have the official one. This gives you the look of what it looks like. So the front has the logo that we're going to be using, which is the city's logo. We have a beautiful map.
Did we discuss redoing that logo though?
That's the city's logo.
Oh, so we're gonna stick with the city's logo instead of the modified one.
We are advertising the city, so we want the city's logo. The map is a wonderful vintage map of the city of West Tawakoni, which I have paid for and paid for the image to be able to use. And tipped the artist, by the way, who also did that. And then our address. When you open the folder, the first thing you see is a picture of the lake. Now, our brochures will not be on paper, nor will they be on this photo page that printed out on the wrong side when I was trying to just give an example of what colors would look like. It'll be on nice brochure photo paper that Staples is going to offer us a discount on because of all my purchases there. So the first thing they'll see is that picture of the lake, a description of Lake Tawakoni, and then there will be a list of the dining and nightlife. The ones that y'all have are not the accurate dining and nightlife, only mine is, and I'll go through it real quick and kind of tell you the order of it. So the first two will be our official restaurants that you sit down in alphabetical order. Dale's and then Rancheros. The next three are our service centers. You've got the American Legion Post 517 that serves dinner, food, open to the public, has a nice bar, and they offer pool tables and karaoke one night. You have the Amvets Post 36. They do dining. You've got your steak dinners for the public on Friday nights. They have a nice bar. They also have pool tables.
And good steaks. Those steaks are well worth it.
Then we have the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 2559. They have a bar and they have gaming. That's why we're calling this dining/nightlife. They are talking about opening a restaurant. The auxiliary, women of the auxiliary are working on putting together a menu and starting to do that again. Apparently they had done that in the past. But they qualify so because they do have the gaming and it is nightlife. You full when you go by in the evening. So then the next one is Billy's Donuts, and that's because they have a sit-down dining area where you can get breakfast and lunch. After that is Billy's Beer and Wine, because they do have hot and fresh food items, and they will cook you hamburgers to order. Next is the Chow Camp Food Truck Park, and we're going to list both of the two current food trucks that are being opened that are serving sandwiches and food type items, and that's Common Snacks on Wheels and Southern Smoked Goodness. And if I get the name of the other trucks when I have the business meeting with them tomorrow, they will also be listed, okay, in alphabetical order. Then we have Crispy Crunchy Chicken, which is inside Circle K. They are temporarily closed because they had a grease fire. They are working with the
They
city.
should be back.
Okay.
They should be back open as of Friday.
Oh, awesome. Then they are back open, hopefully. I haven't stopped by there. But it is a franchise. So it is actually a separate business from Circle K, which also means we want to get it on our business directory on the city site. And then finally, Linda's Nook, which is a bar and has a pool hall, pool tables, and you can bring in food there. So there is part of the nightlife. The two places that are closed that are not listed on this are Fat Cats and Gilligan's. Fat Cats owners, it doesn't look like they're doing any kind of work toward reopening at this point, and Tracy and Amber Travers are not really responding to me when I leave messages for them. So I suspect that they're not going to be able to open properly in the next year, so we don't want to put something on here that's not open and have people think when they come down here, oh, you know, what kind of false advertising for the city. Gilligan's, Chad Jacoby and I have been in communication with each other. They're hoping at some point to get it open, but right now the amount of work that needs to be done to get that accomplished is unlikely to happen anytime soon.
If it's close enough, can we just put coming soon on it?
No, because they're not close enough. They're not even in the process of making the list of what to do.
Okay.
So
Not that close.
we will do these flyers, but I want you to remember the purpose of these is they are going out. So we can do 1,000 flyers, and I promise you, I'll have 100 gone as of October 2nd, already at just one luncheon. So these flyers are going to go fast, so we will be coming back to redo brochures and to update them probably in 6 months.
That's what I was going to ask on Chow Camp, or any of the food trucks contracted to be there for any amount of time. Because if you have any turnover, you don't want permanent brochures that show
I don't think.
trucks in and
I
out.
don't think so. I don't know, but I don't think we do. it sounded, when I talked to Ramsey, then it sounded like they kind of plan on having it a little fluid.
If that's the case, maybe you list the types of foods that may be available there and not so much the actual names of the businesses, unless we're planning to
Well,
redo every 90 days or something just to update that.
these two food trucks are gonna stay.
They're committed to stay.
They're permanent, and in fact, Robert Monroe has moved out here.
Oh,
So
nice.
he's physically left his residence and now is living here
Very good.
to be able to have that and keep it open. I'm not sure about Kim and Dwight if they live here, but I believe they're local and they're planning on keeping it open.
Very nice.
So the biggest issue that we've got right now with Chow Camp is the time when they're open and when they're closed. So I'm gonna be talking with Ramsey tomorrow about that and see what we can do about getting set times that we know they're gonna be open. So that's what people see right off the bat when they look at it. Then when you open it, and by the way, I didn't know we had all those places to eat. That was a real shocker for me, so it's a good thing to get that news out. Then when you,
I've been everywhere except for Linda's. I didn't know that was open.
and they shoot pool, and they have pool competitions there, and it's a good place to
Ran
go.
some shuffleboard inside there. They got a good table, nice and level, and it's always cool in there in the evenings.
So then inside, when you open it up all the way, you get the full picture of, rather than having separate three listings.
I was just gonna make the suggestion that this needs to be bigger, but you already got it done, so I don't need to say that.
It is bigger, and the bottom, I make sure it says produced by the West Walking Economic Development Corporation with special thanks to Map Memory and to all our local businesses. So we do an honorary mention of them. Always good to do. Inside, at the top, this is really related to the EDC, the City of West Walkeny, a growing place for business. We welcome all existing and new businesses here in our peaceful lakefront community. When you get the flyers in the mail for purchasing lakefront property, which we all get them at Lake Palestine, other lakes, we don't have the money to be advertising that from our small city like they are around those other lakes. And we also don't have the lakefront property available for sale. We've got one, actually, we don't have any lots in lakefront in our community right now. So there's nothing for us to advertise like that. But my thought was we want to present it similar to those types of advertising. So that's why I've got a picture of the sunset on the lake. I've got the picture of the boat ramp that you had suggested, Casey, that we promote our boat ramps. And we've got the 3 public boat ramps listed and in bold. And then for the fishing guide services, we've got 8 listed that can pick, are either running out of Anchor Inn Tawakoni Marina or that can pick up from ours, cut in alphabetical order. And then, Casey, you said Fish and Store Bait and Tackle is now doing their own
Correct, and
guide service
we do want to list that on there as
under Fish and Store.
under Fish and Store guide
Okay.
service. Correct.
So what we'll do, that'll go in again in alphabetical order. So I will add that in. Then for tackle bait stores, we've got Billy's Beer and Wine, Fish and Store Bait and Tackle, and Trout Line Bait and Tackle. Now, the reason Billy's is there is they actually do have a bait and tackle section, and they advertise that for their business. Penny Mart has a small bait area. You can get worms and all, but it's not really promoted and it's not something to advertise. Circle K also has a small section with some bait and some tackle. But I just, if y'all think we should add those 2, we can. But I just kind of thought these were the 3 main ones, and I'd hate to see fishermen come in and stop. They're going to stop by Circle K for gas or the, crispy chicken. But if they walk in and they think, oh, so this is the bait and tackle. So, that's up to y'all if y'all think we should add those 2.
Well, also sold, maybe. It's not a primary purpose, but also.
Very true. And then we have the list of lodging here. And I think your lodging list on those sample ones are the same as what I have here. So at the bottom, it's boating, tubing, jet skis, fishing, camping, catfish noodling, swimming, golfing, billiards, game rooms. all recreational activities that are wonderful on the fourth largest lake in Texas. The city of West Tawakoni offers lodging, rentals, and free public boat ramps.
I think I could think, no, this is great. But, no. It'd be nice if we had some like, you know, a calendar of events that we could also link to right off of this and say, you know, because we do have things coming to the city park all the time. It would be nice if we just linked at it.
Well, I think the closest we're gonna get today is to go to the website, which is City of West Tawakoni. Because the EDC is gonna have a calendar of events, but we haven't approved that yet, but we will. And I'll be getting the information on the cost for us to advertise all the events on the Tri-City, Tri-County news.
If we can get a response, I don't know if you're able to. I want to know if we get a response out of that.
I haven't yet because I've had a lot.
Sure.
on my plate.
So
But-
who is ultimately responsible for this calendar?
It will end up being the EDC, and
Oh,
that's
good.
because not only are we promoting the business and everything else, but there's certain legalities that we won't go into tonight regarding what the city can do legally on the website versus what the EDC can do legally on a website and what we do. So one of the things we want to be very careful of, for example, the business of the month is on the EDC site. We can do that. A city cannot do that. A city cannot pick out businesses and promote them.
Let me ask you
We
this.
can put new businesses on ours. The city cannot do that. So we walk a very fine line, making sure that the city doesn't have any legal liability. Our EDC will be the ones who kind of take responsibility for that. And once we get a calendar of events going that people can look at, they'll go on this site. They'll be able to go and look at the calendar of events that are there promoted by the EDC, and they'll get it on the Tri-County if we can get that up and running, because we don't have a paper anymore. You know, you used to get it in the Herald Banner. And I think the cost of doing it in the Herald Banner is, you know, potentially prohibitive. Okay?
Well, is there anything that we are restricted from doing then, or can we be very comprehensive about it?
Yeah, there are certain things that we have to be careful about what we put out, and we need to vote. We have to, as a board, decide if we're gonna put it on or not put it on. So for example, somebody decides they're gonna do a wet t-shirt contest in the park and not even wear the t-shirts, went to one of those at Wet n Wild when I first came out here back 20 years ago. The EDC is probably not gonna vote to promote that particular kind of event. So we probably wouldn't vote to put that on the calendar. We'll decide if somebody is doing a finger painting contest in the park, we might not want to promote that. I mean, just like finger painting, that's okay, but not necessarily going to bring in tourists or businesses. We are limited to, and I gave you guys a list of what you have to do. We are limited for what we promote. Everything has to go for either tourism, tourist-related advertising, promoting the city businesses, tourists visiting our local businesses, or primary jobs, promotion, creating, or retaining a primary job, or business or industry development, or doing targeted infrastructure, or working on the water supply or a water conservation program, or affordable housing. So everything we do, this is what we agreed, and this was the form that I came up with. Every one thing that we do comes with this. So for example, when I go to the Cotton Patch Challenge, I'll be meeting with her in person. She will see this is what EDCs are legally allowed to do. And then she will sign the required performance agreement, which says when I hand you this check, you're going to use it for what you say you're going to use it for, or there's a clawback clause, you have to give it back to the EDC. So
I guess where I was going with that is that, as far as the like the comprehensive plan, right, for the city, right, is we don't want a whole bunch of half-baked calendars out there. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen because there's none right now, so I don't think anyone's going to do it. But nothing would surprise me. But you know, I just don't want to have, you know, well, if you want to see this type of information, you go to this site. If you want to see this type of information, you go to this site. If you want to go to that, you know, if anything, you could have one calendar, and then you can even have a checkbox on it. Click all the ED or click activities, or
That's-
click business, and then you
That's-
could have the calendar pre-populated
That's-
off different calendars.
But this is where we want them to go to the city site.
Now, which is
The
fine.
other site.
No problem with that.
The other site that people would go to is the Chamber of Commerce.
Mhm.
The Lake Tawakoni Regional Chamber of Commerce has a list of all events, and that includes all of events all the way out through Quinlan and down through Lonoke. So they have a calendar of events, and they provide all that information and the businesses that are
I'll
involved.
have to go look. Because last time I don't know why, but Grok couldn't find it for nothing, but ChatGPT brought everything right up. I was like, what the heck? So don't even ask me on the last one. But again, because there is synergistic value in having that one-stop shop, right? And again, it'd be very, very, anyone who, I'm sure Mary could even set it up. She probably knows how to do a calendar and just do the little check boxes, just like I said, and then form a category and just makes everything nice and clean, and you would have to be going to that site, this site, that site. Just as a city, who all needs to have a calendar, and we can click the box for it, it can just populate as needed. I don't know who we talk to. I don't know how we could get that on the discovery for the city.
I don't know, we could put that as a future agenda item.
Well, I've been tempted a few times just to go out and buy a name and do it.
Is there, I've already gotten a couple of changes on this from you, so we will get fish and, store guide up here, I get the comma cut here, and I get the capital letter here. Is there anything else that y'all feel like, and I've already increased that size, Brett, for that
That's
picture.
good.
Anything else we need to do on this brochure?
Would it be beneficial to add a QR code that links to the city site? And then potentially in the future, if there is a map, maybe that QR goes directly to the map instead of the city, or not a map, but a calendar?
You
Yes.
got a QR,
You know,
do you have a QR code
It can be
available
created.
tomorrow?
Yeah, I can work on it tomorrow, yes.
Okay.
Run it through the first round of updates next time.
Alright, but if you could get that QR code for me in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And
Because
all the pictures here,
I need it, this is what I'm using, guys, this is what I'm handing to people, I have
No,
4 business
Mhm.
meetings, this is what's going
Oh,
on.
it's great.
So we
Lays
gotta
out
do it,
nice.
we gotta do it now.
Fantastic, I
Yeah,
think.
that looks really good.
that looks great. My only thing is somewhere I just wanted to see a fish. I wanted to see a catfish somewhere here.
You have a picture here on the back of everyone doing the jet ski racing and everyone going.
Catfish capital.
Okay.
And you have catfish right here.
They're right there.
Alright, so
Rat hole.
Chair would entertain a motion, because you can tell we need to get them printed, to print this brochure with the recommended changes, with the added QR code, the added fishing guide, the comma on activities, and the capital H on home rentals, and a double check on the food truck park to make sure everybody's listed who are gonna be there permanently.
I'll make a motion to approve all those things.
I'll second that. All those things.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Alright. So now we go on to the dreaded number 9, complete the workshop on the EDC budget.
We are almost done. We're almost done. Not too bad.
I like the way you look at things.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So we finished all the income sections in the first section of administrative
Right.
expenses.
And Larry, do you have yours with you?
What's that?
The budget, why don't you
No.
swing over here next to me so you can see
No,
this.
I didn't bring it with me. I'm sorry.
You have to move closer.
I'll
to
just
look at
talk
her.
loudly.
I don't have Excel brain.
I just wanted to get.
There you go.
You know,
All
All right, so this one is not going to be too terrible. Just going to kind of roll through what we've got. The first line item is going to be for signs. I
right
want
here.
to tell you this is probably a very old item. If we would like to put something in here, we can. There's nothing budgeted, no actuals. It's all zeroed out. So do we want to leave it, keep it?
I think signs should be rolled under,
Advertising.
Yeah.
Which we do have that, and that's probably why that's been zeroed out. Because we have the marketing promotions other, and then actually have two of those.
Well, and that's one of the problems I was having when I was looking at what they did last year and the year before. Kind of all over the place. So,
It is.
do you have a number for how much we're spending on marketing? How much we budgeted for marketing and advertising?
So from what I'm seeing, like I said, this is we've got 2000. Because this is like the number 9 is our marketing and promotion. Or see where it says 30-09 over there.
Yeah.
That is our marketing and promotions
Versus 09.
department.
Okay, right here. So that is under the
Category.
marketing.
That's a better word. Thank you. So budgeted or our current year to date, we've spent $5,150 on chamber events. On the first responder luncheon, we spent $679. On the fishing tournament, we spent $500, and that is all of that department. Now, as far as budgeted numbers, we have the cotton patch $1,000 in here. Do we want to increase that since we just discussed 1,600?
Do we have to specify the different items, or can you cut it all in one lump marketing and promotions? Where in last year's they had it down for $10,120.
But it broke down into subcategories after that.
Do
So-
you have to have subcategories in a EDC budget?
I would need to verify that one. I think the mentality before has always been keep it as specific as possible, but I don't think that's necessary. Because I've spoken with our attorney, she didn't feel it was as necessary to be super specific, but also not to be overgeneralized.
But I think if you're wanting to set a budget for marketing, but you're wanting to break it down into 10 different things, how do you know if you're staying on budget for those 10 different things if you're just setting a generalized budget? So
Right.
so you can kind of set them as like
Think it-
operations or something we expect to have every year because
Sure.
it's reoccurring.
Mm-hmm.
And then just set aside a little bit for projects. You know, say,
Well,
we'll put 5,000 here for things that come up but aren't reoccurring, but something's gonna
that's
pop
something
up.
special.
And that's kind of already how it's broke down. You through the marketing one, you do see our annual events that we're going through. Like we've got the cotton patch. Then there were chamber events for 5,000. The first responder luncheon has been an annual once that was put in that way. The Cabela's tournament was a reoccurring event, the same as the Jam Fest.
Okay, so if we're gonna leave it broken down like that, then I think we need to budget something for signs. Whenever they have when Clement ISD does their big catfish tournament that they did this year that we give the $5,000 for, I had to get Tiffany to kind of dig through some old stuff to see if she could find an old sign. There's an old sign with chartreuse colors for the West Block and the EDC. And I told her, I said, well, use it. So they put that on the promotion that was on their website and their advertising. And we don't have any signs. So the last two people who ran the EDC, none of those signs are there. I've got the old cards that we're using right now. We're going to need to get new cards at some point. We're going to need to come up with and decide what we want our sign to look like, because even though we're going to want the city's official sign on it, we also are going to need to have EDC listed on it because of that legal issue where the city itself can't be seen as promoting, for example, the catfish tournament for Quinlan. The city can't do that. The EDC does it. So we want a sign that's going to have the city's official sign that our EDC from this city is promoting that. And we don't have anything like that. So I think we got to have something budgeted for next year.
I agree.
Any idea on like what signage costs, like individual signs, and how many events those would be needed for? Are we thinking like yard signs, like realtor type signs? Is that
what I'm
The general
thinking,
thought.
what they had was it was like a 20 by 24, it was one big sign, like a hard, good poster that you could cut out. We might want a banner instead.
I'd probably go with a banner for being able to move things around, and then for something static, which we were talking about. Oh gosh, almost when I first got here, is putting a something similar to what American Legion has out there. Those types of signs. I can't remember. It's an LED, but one of the first generations of LEDs. But I guess that was looking for something about their size and a half size bigger. I think it was 6 foot by 3 foot for about $8 grand. They're LED liquidators here in Dallas.
Well, it's something I think we need to be able to transport. And, you know, just like when you and I did the park event, and so I set up with nothing to make it look like an EDC booth. It would have been nice to have had a sign, you know, or a banner or something we could have tied out there so people would know.
Probably get a
what we
couple
were
different ones, reasonable ones though, not just the yard sign ones. Those will get trashed in a heartbeat.
Well, and the bigger sign that you're talking about, I think too, y'all were looking
That's
at
city infrastructure.
converting that building into an EDC building, which you can't legally do. So we're not looking at a permanent sign that's going to be stuck someplace. We need something that moves and something that we take back. So for example, even with the Cotton Patch Challenge, they are going to be making a sign for us. When I meet with her, I'm going to be talking with her about what they do with that sign afterward. And maybe, you know, that's the kind of thing that I think
we
maybe
can grab it.
maybe we want our signs that we give and we take to those events.
I agree, but I also would not let go of the other idea of having a nice sign right in front of the park, because that's way better radio all day long. Because maybe you're not catching people out there, but you're getting people that are going by there all the time. 99% of which don't even know there's anything going on at the park.
Well, and the city has that sign there that they put stuff up in.
What's that?
The sign in front of the park.
I'm talking something digital to grab your attention when you're driving by. A lot of traffic.
Well, if we do that, we might want to come up with adding to the budget a sign for the city.
Okay.
That we replace
We
that
can.
sign for them.
Well,
But right now that's kind of beyond my
What if
thought
we
process.
put,
you know what? I can even draw up some metrics on the ROI of what a sign like that would bring. At least there's metrics there that other people are captured out there that I can go borrow.
what if we put, say, $1,000 in that one? I know we've saved some up in this area already. That would give us something to look at signs, get some pricing on some signs, and see kind of where we're at. We could always do a budget amendment later if we see it's we need more.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and you do need something to start at, right?
Yes.
Right. Is that okay? $1,000? All
Yes.
right.
Plenty. And that's to get a couple, right? Like a
Yeah, I think that's
Well-
gonna give you a couple banners. I know I've priced some banners for my kids' sports and things, and you're looking at $120 for a
Mhm.
banner. It's not super crazy. Printing has gotten a lot more efficient, I think, over the years.
So sometimes you get one, you put on top of the tent, that 4x8 or that 6x3 or whatever,
Mhm.
and then you have the one you put under the table and wrap it around,
Mhm.
which would be something more like a 2x4.
Yeah, or you can get the table covers itself that can be a banner.
We just ordered
Something
one
to
for our
think about.
business. I think it was $250, $300 for the table cover.
Yeah.
That $1,000 covers quite a bit as
Yeah,
far
I
as
think it would give you quite a bit of
getting going.
That sounds
In
good.
fact, we should probably just think about a table cover.
Yeah.
But,
'Cause
and
we're always
we'll,
going to have
yeah,
a table out
we'll
there.
put that under signs.
Okay, so then going down this line, Cotton Patch, we've got it at moving it to 1,600, like we just talked about. The next line item that had something budgeted was development maintenance. I don't know what it was done prior to. I don't know what the idea of it was. So that's a keep it, leave it.
I'd say zero it out if we don't know what it is.
I wasn't sure where it was coming or what the thought process on it. Okay, so then we've got the domain name, which is zeroed out.
Don't need that.
Marketing and promotions other. There's 2,000 in there. just other types of marketing promotion. You know, you talked about getting a tent. I guess you could put that under there. Depends.
I would leave that there.
So leave the 2,000 there.
With our name on it.
Yes. Okay. Then there's a repeated line. I guess it was created and not created time before. Chamber events. It was sitting at 5,000. Looks like we've currently already spent 5,150. So
Yeah, well, and I bet the 5,150 is, the membership at the chamber.
mhm,
There's the chamber event of the fishing tournament, which is 5,000.
yes,
We have 150 that's going to be paid for us to have the table at the iHeart
mhm,
event. And then there would be probably a little bit of money we've approved to be a part of the entrepreneur business work, which, you know, big thing that we're gonna be doing and announcing the winner. So I think we need to put a little bit more than 5,000. And
I would agree. That's especially if we're looking at these other events. I kind of like it being a generalized name, where as those events are evolving, I know the chamber is working hard at creating a bunch of other events, so I don't want to put name specific. But that one, I would think you could put more in there to cover those types of events.
Like the catfish tournament, that was this year's budget. Is it planned for next year? Is it that already been?
That has not been paid for yet.
Have we committed to that for next year?
yeah,
I guess?
yeah, so did Chums on the Water.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Good.
Better keep that boat from sinking, I guess.
But it has not been already expended, so
So what,
Right.
5,500?
10%, yeah.
So that would leave us pretty well capped at the catfish plus the entry, the membership fee plus the other money. We only had about 200 left.
and
Are there any other events later in the year that we'd want to be at?
Well, again,
Like
Does it,
we want to keep our
entrepreneurial
events
workshop, we don't have any.
thinking about static ones. We have your reoccurring events,
Mhm.
and then just having a general fund for, well, what if something pops up? Just
Right.
put maybe $1,000 in that other category.
Yeah.
I hate other categories, but
well, you could put put that one under.
or just call it non-reoccurring.
That's
marketing.
where our marketing and promotion other.
Other.
I guess
Oh,
we
that's
could use
true.
as that one.
Yeah,
And for those other events, then we've got the chamber events. Going through this line item,
Those are all reoccurring. too,
yeah,
so
it's
Yeah.
saying,
good.
and they,
fishing tournament and the Jam Fest has been. I mean, we know the name has been changed, so which there's two of those also. But we could. I can always change that name if we want to keep the history similar, but something because we have $1,000 in Jam Fest. We know Jam Fest is no longer an event. It was, and it was a chamber event, but that now because it's now the Travers.
yeah,
Jet
and,
races,
and
so.
again, you know, I kind of say we have $1,000 that was left sitting on the table, but if Tracy and Amanda don't feel like they need it, then they don't feel like they want to come to the EDC and ask for it, so
So do we want to move that 1,000 up to chamber events, or do we want to move that 1,000 up to the marketing and promotion other?
let's move it up to marketing and promotion others, because then that lets us have a wider range if they do turn around and come back.
Yeah.
Use
Then,
the
then we
flexibility.
have
At
some
that point,
flexibility.
it's yeah.
So we'll make that 6,500.
Now we'll make that marketing and promotion other 3,000.
Oh,
That was
okay.
2,000, and then we'll leave the 5,500 for chamber events, chamber specific events.
Okay.
Okay, so
1,000 signs. You know, you're keeping the official one on this. Marketing
Yes.
and promotion will go from 2,000 to 3,000.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
For the first responders luncheon, that we have 500 on that one. We spent $679.
And I think we probably ought to go up to
750.
750.
That's kind of where I was thinking.
I say a lot of these probably need 10% bump.
I think you're probably right.
All right, so then going down things that are not zeroed out, the fishing tournament,
Okay.
which is like fourth from the bottom. We spent 500 this year. Do we want to leave it at 500? I'm not sure what fishing tournament that
That's what I was
was.
going to wonder. Is that separate from the?
That's separate. That's Quinlan ISD.
Education
and
Foundation one.
the Education Foundation one, which I think we can leave it at 500.
Maybe rename it. So we know if that's
Is
wrong.
that going to be a reoccurring?
Yeah, that's how they get their scholarships, part of their scholarships
So-
money. They also make it a point to give some of that money to make sure a student from the city of West Tawakoni is up for some of that. I believe a big scholarship recipient was Billy's Donuts
Yeah.
daughter
Yes.
won that, and she's brilliant. I wish I could remember what college she's going to in the fall.
I don't remember.
It's a good one.
Harvard.
Something like Cornell. I mean, she's a brilliant young lady.
Okay, just a suggestion. Do we not just want to move that one into the marketing and promotions, or do we want to create an event line, or do we want to leave it specific?
Well, it's already specific. Leave it specific. Can you add QISD to it? Add QISD to it.
So we're gonna leave it at 500.
Yeah, I think if it's dedicated money that's already been set aside for something in particular, we name it. That way there's no question when you come
Exactly,
back to
so-
it as to where it goes.
It all kind of the turnover changes all of a sudden. Whoever's doing the budget can at least understand it.
You stuck forever.
That's what everybody keeps telling me, and I'm okay with that.
So things that are 0 for 2 years running, can those be taken out of here or they have to stay?
They'll be hidden from it.
Okay.
But what I know that was a big question in our city council one as well. When we did this big conversion of software, we went from QuickBooks to FundView. They imported everything for the past 3 or 4 years, and any account that was created in QuickBooks from even prior to, they brought it over. But after 2 years of nothing, it'll just kind of be hidden. So whenever I do the final budget, it's all those zeroed out items are gonna be hidden because it's not really a part of the budget, but those accounts have to stay accounted for so they can show their history. So whenever I come back to the next one, I'm gonna have all those cleaned up where it's just shows what we're spending. But if we come in later and we want to create something that's always searchable, so we don't have doubles like the marketing and promotion others, the Jam Fest. There's doubles. There shouldn't have to be doubles, but it's never been searched before through QuickBooks because it's not super useful, in my opinion. My opinion on that one.
I hate to work backwards, but can I ask a question? Because it's such a large budget item. On projects, the line 30-08-5370, what was that 12,500 on the current year to date for? It's up probably, I don't know.
Yeah, see what
12,900
you're
or
seeing. 12. Looks like we've spent it this year. I would love to tell you what my brain's telling me, but my brain is.
It was Flock Safety Group.
That's right. So it was the EDC approved the police department's assistance in our flock safety cameras, and that was their first or their second year of service that EDC approved to purchase.
And in case we forget, it should also be understood that there's some hesitancy on the second one, so that the third, if it comes back for a third round, it should be kind of, no, you're supposed to learn to stand on your own 2 feet after the first one.
Yes.
Okay.
It's already
So-
been pushed once.
All right, so that's what that one.
All right. So, and we have that at 0 at this point.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Because the 08 is supposed to be the administrative department, so that really should be any administrative projects, as opposed to coming down here further down the line where we have our 4A, 4B projects.
Okay.
Because like you said, there was some hesitance, so it wasn't built into the budget for the 24-25 year. So that's why it kind of is where it is. Okay, so towards the bottom of the page, we have the park restroom repair. Still hasn't been done, but it was budgeted for 1,800, which the idea was one door.
And I think we can leave it at 1,800. I think that it was voted on and agreed by the board prior to me getting here that we would pay for one door. The only reason that it hasn't been done is it's hard to find a door company that actually will do that. And the one company we got the recommendation for, I reached out to when I was looking at fixing the garage doors and replacing the door on the EDC building, and never really got a response back. I sent pictures, didn't get an estimate, so we're just not quite there, to make that happen.
I've become quite good at doing that around my house. This thing's so work, and it's like, you gotta be kidding me, I gotta take it off for a third time?
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
these are,
Building a house
these
is
are
fun.
huge metal doors, and the one that really needs to be repaired is the one where someone, maybe they had to get somebody who was trapped inside out, I don't know, but they broke through, we're talking about metal doors like this, and they broke through the concrete where it was put in, so the concrete
Oh,
on the
wow.
side is pulled out and broken, so the door is permanently closed.
And who
right
had to
now.
do that?
It was just done.
I don't know if somebody, I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
if it was an
In any
emergency
case.
situation, but it's pretty damaged. That one does need to be replaced. The other three, I think, they need some repair and some work. And we got really good recommendations from Lawrence with, who is it that does the inspection?
Bureau Veritas.
Bureau Veritas, and I like that man very much.
Mhm.
And he came out and he and I walked that with Mary and with Shannon. We walked and we looked at all those bathrooms, and he gave very good advice about having one of these security cameras that the police have up there so we can stop people breaking in to do whatever they're doing in the bathrooms and they think they got to break in. Like other places you can use the bathroom or whatever else it is you're doing in there, but we got a problem with people breaking in. So having some cameras up. The park actually, before events, those bathrooms are pretty clean. They've got toilet paper. I hear all kinds of people complaining about those bathrooms when I go to other events where people are, oh, bathrooms are nasty or whatever. I go in the bathroom and it's pretty clean. And every event, I have no trouble using the bathroom there. And I'm a little picky sometimes about where I go. So we are doing a good job maintaining those bathrooms.
I'll be the first one to admit, I haven't seen them in a while, because you know what? I gave up.
Well,
It was so bad, I was like, there ain't even a reason for me to walk over there, I'll just walk in the woods right over there.
because you got your house there. But
But I was
think,
gonna suggest, if we're having a hard time getting money for just repairing the door, but in all honesty, I don't know what you guys saw that was attractive about those restrooms, but even if they were clean, they're still need a serious freshen up, some paint, and that kind
but
of
that's
stuff.
not the EDC's job.
Well, it's none of it's the EDC's job, I'm just saying.
That's
But if you're gonna do it, I'm just so tired of seeing all the Band-Aids instead of, if you're gonna do it right.
Well, I would agree with that. But I know we don't want to pay for what the city can pay for.
We don't,
How
but,
does the city
but we,
feel?
but,
How did the city
hell,
feel?
if our HOA can do it, the EDC can do it.
The city has
Are they leaning towards?
absolutely, and I think, have y'all put together another park board?
It is on standby, I guess, for a better word. We're having a hard time getting volunteers for the park board.
Okay.
So they just put it on hold and waiting for council. Bring it back all out again.
So
I'll put my
everything goes full circle out here in the history,
all
and
fence.
now our city is back on the circle to looking at putting together a park board.
Okay, paintball tournaments and. You name it, I did it.
We don't do the park road.
I wanted that maybe the EDC may have helped the city do something with the park road at one point or another. So I'm not. That's been
I think
zeroed
the
out.
best thing we can do to help the city is make sure that when they get a bill and say we're gonna do it, there's somebody that's can at least Google and looks through their work and says, there's some kind of quality assurance going in place, because it hasn't been being done. It wasn't done at the park, it wasn't done in our HOA, it just slam bam, thinking man, let it ride. And and you can't, well, at least the parks doesn't have the problem that the rest of the city does, because they do have water runoff going right into the lake. So there's really no reason that they can't build a well-engineered, you still have, at least you got it all down for backup. You just completely redo the entire thing. But that's gonna be expensive again.
Very expensive.
But at least they got a lot more foundation now that's not gonna shift as much. But they did not build that, well, I can tell you right now, the fire trucks going across there, never should go. Unless they're engineering it for that type of load, fire trucks shouldn't be going on there. Same thing with the garbage guys. The guys that come pick up the garbage, those trucks are almost as heavy as our fire trucks, and they're doing U-turns on that stuff.
If the city decided they wanted to work and borrow money from the EDC to do something with like the park road because of either the business that it's gonna be in our EDC building once we get that done and rent it out, or from some other kind of business. We got the RV rental pads in there and the camping. If the city came to the EDC and asked to borrow money to repay at an interest rate similar to what we've done before, that would be something we would consider and then do a budget amendment for that. I don't think we want to have that in our budget as an anticipated plan.
And again, but if we were to vote for it, I'd just say no.
Okay.
Not because of the money, but because of quality work.
Okay.
Okay, so second page, where we're at, I've got, and the 30-11 means non-departmental, so these are just things that don't really have a true department. And the 25,000 for additions to fixed assets, that is the building.
Okay.
That's their Kennedy Highway. So that is the monies that we're using to do the repairs and get it ready to be rented.
How much?
25,000 is what was put in. I think at the time of budget last year, it was being thought for a demo or a
It's only 5,000 more now to fix it than it was to demolish it. So yeah, I'm good.
So we still have how much left over from that? We haven't finished the
Yeah, we still have a little over 10,000 left.
10,250.
and we're definitely, I can tell you that the work that we're gonna be doing to get it up and ready is definitely gonna be at least 10,000. Get the insulation in, to get something up on the insulation in the walls, get the walls covered, pay for the inspection, and to get it up for rental.
So that would probably, if that was all done before end of fiscal year, that would probably expend the majority of that or almost all of that. Do we want to leave another 25,000 in there for next fiscal year, or do we want to drop it because a lot of the work has been done?
I would actually suggest, since it's already in the budget, that we leave it, because the way it's allocated is additions of fixed assets, which means we're not limited to just doing that EDC building.
Absolutely.
If we have that up and running and doing well, and we make a decision that we want to make another purchase another
Like
property.
the LED sign.
Well, but like the LED sign, or I have people approaching me about the EDC approaching the city for us purchasing that lot instead of, where else it might go. So,
I'm sorry, say again, Donna?
There's a lot for sale, or not a lot for sale. The council just approved to sell a few lots. There's some residential lots and there's one commercial lot that is right next to, don't quote me, Ambets. Is that the service company right there? Yes. That a developer across the street.
I thought we already owned from our building all the way to Ambets.
This one's on the other side of Ambets.
Okay. I would.
Yeah,
so,
I
but
was too,
It's coming.
because when I
But I mean,
walked
it's
the
coming. I
property,
mean, all the business. It's going to be here. I mean, this be one of those things where I know in the 5 years, if we don't pick up on something like that, we're going to look at it in 5 years and go, "What the hell? Why did we do that?"
well, and there's some things that if the city owns something, that they have strict laws about how they have to handle it and what they do with it. If the EDC purchases that from them, we have different laws that kind of govern what we do. So, I'll leave the 25,000 there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving down a few zeroed line items. There's one here, the 30-11-5256. It's the account analysis charge. It's an annual fee. Not sure where it's been previously, but that's where it's going to start going.
Okay, it's $3.
Yeah, it's not.
All right. Let's move it up to $3.50. Let's take a big. I like that 10% increase. Let's increase that 20%.
I should have.
All right, a few other zeros. Then we've got grants. 12,000 is what's been budgeted. Has not been used this year. 12,000 is kind of what I was thinking. Leave it at. But
We've never used it, but what I'm thinking is if we leave it at 12,000 in grants, that opens the door for the city to come to the EDC for money for grants, where we can assist with that if it relates to what we're allowed to do for business.
all right. Infrastructure development. It's been 12,000. Hasn't been used.
Let's leave it.
Okay. Other projects. This would be projects that do not fall under the 4A, 4B category.
Oh, 10,000. Well, if we decide we gotta travel to Italy to pick up on other business opportunities.
Sign, get me a ticket,
Yeah,
write me up a ticket there.
yeah.
Sounds good.
So we'll leave that at 10.
Yeah. Just it leaves the opportunity there for different projects that pop up throughout the year. It looks like we've got payments for job training,
That's what went to the library.
and nothing's been expended this year.
Oh, then that's not the library, the grant for the library job training. Do you remember how much we spent on that?
I do not. Off the top of my head, I'll have to put it here, and I can look that up tomorrow.
Yeah,
And then where it went.
look that up because the EDC itself is not doing specific job training. Instead, what we're doing is we're doing that in a grant to the workforce group that's working out of the library. And that looks like, from everything I can see, being very, very helpful. People coming in, using the computers, getting training, getting the resumes done. That ended up being, I think, a great decision last year.
Okay, so then
So we'll leave it.
going down.
The tax on the property, the value of that property is going to increase significantly once we have it up as commercial property for rent, and we get it on our insurance for the city. So I'm going to suggest we increase that to $1,000.
That's for 1,300.
Yes. 4A, 4B projects.
I think leave that at 25,000, particularly with the possibility that the city may be coming to us for help on the water sewer side of things.
The what?
On the water sewer side, if we end up getting some real strong development in here, Vox Enterprises keeps talking with you. They really are trying to look to see about bringing that in. There may be some things that need to be done to assist with that can fall under our ability to assist.
Okay, the job workforce.
Why do we have to?
Valid question. I question that every time I done the budget.
I suggest we zero that out.
Okay.
We've got it on the other line.
Okay.
And the same for job training.
Okay, so job training, I think that may have answered our question. I wonder if we paid $2,500 for the library grant. Nope. So then that may be something from earlier in the fiscal year that I don't have on top of my brain.
Imagine.
Maybe.
Can't imagine
Check
anything
on
we
that.
do that's not free or.
You'll have to look at the bank account to see where
I
that
can look that up and have that answer when we come back. Okay, and that is
And then
the
is there a job fair?
There's always been a budget. I don't know if we participated in a job fair. I don't know if there has been participation previously when they just kept it for a future job fair.
So what is it at the library that we would need to help outside of for job type training? If we're using money for that and they're doing a good job of it, what else can we do as EDC to help for job promotion?
Well, we already have. I can't remember how much it was, but we
required additional
donated
budget.
enough for them to buy. So they got usable computers. I went over and fixed most of them. Some of them, got the operating system correctly put in. So only so much you could do. Somebody could have really do, but they're getting brand new Chromebooks on top of those ones they have there, and they are working with Texas Workforce out of Greenville, where I think it's probably about maybe 2 to 3 months. It seems like they're doing something, and they're just helping people, local people with computing. And a lot of these people do, and I seen it firsthand when I was there working on them, that some people have a hard time figuring out what a mouse is.
Sure.
So they kind of get in that real base level of just how can I, even from my phone, if I got to do it, how can I learn how to look for a job on my own? So they're getting, it's the basic of the basics.
I'm saying
Doesn't-
that's money being
Yeah.
spent to the library. This group aiding the
Yeah,
library.
but it wasn't for
what
job
else
training.
outside
We
of
did it.
that?
We did it for their assets because they
Okay.
need new computers.
Because there's 3 or
I
4
mean,
budget lines that go
But
to.
they actually got a pretty nice setup. They got a nice network,
Good.
fiber.
They
They're pretty
finally
set.
got fiber they're very happy with.
You might have
Even
given
though
us
it's throttled down
$2,500
by their 100
for the
megabit
job, for the
switch.
job
Yeah.
stuff at the library.
That's where I'm thinking. That's where I would have put it. If it was given
Okay.
me and say Mary figure it out, that's where I would have put that under.
I suspect the 2,500 was the money that was given to the library.
I'm not sure on that.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I'm
Well,
thinking.
That sounds what.
I'm
That
not
sounds like what
positive.
the right
So
number.
do we need to?
That sounds
Check
like
on
5
that.
Chromebooks, $500 a pop.
So now we've got 10,000. No, I'm sorry, I'm off the line. We've got 1,000 for job training. It looks like we spent 2,500. We've also got the 500 that we're zeroing out. Do we want to leave 2,500 and just put it in one item?
Yeah.
That would
I
make
think-
sense. Then
Yes.
it's pretty spread out right there.
So
So every category has its own catch-all other, right? So there's one other for every category.
well, we can call
That's
this one
fine.
job
No, that's
training or job. I mean, job training is where that's what I would want to call it because we could support it in any way that's affecting job training for this community.
Okay.
Alright, so what would we call it if we began to go to some of these business fairs as an EDC and set up, like, let's say we go to Denton, where they're doing a fair for businesses to come in to look at places that they might like to build or grow or come. And we have our EDC table and tent all set up, advertising our city, trying to get them to consider renting property out here, bringing their business here. What would you call it?
Marketing and promotions.
Okay.
So that's also.
That's
so-
what I would call it.
And I haven't seen the comprehensive plan yet. I'll be glad this got done.
Very, very
But is there talk now about the direction that people are looking, because change is inevitable, but the way we're fashioning towards that change, and Vox is a huge win, and I still don't understand it, but thank God they're coming, and because that's going to be some good paying jobs in the area, but I can't see hitting that home run very often, and most of the stuff's going to be right around what we're talking about already, or catfish.
Mhm.
So play upon our strengths, and what are we going to do on that?
Now, we have 2 line items that we needed to go back to before we finish today. Back at 3008, FEC Electric, 5287. We are going to be setting up the electricity on the building. When the building is rented out, the person who's renting it will be the one paying that electric bill. However, the electric bill still is coming into the city or into the EDC. So it'll be, I guess, one of those things where we pay it and then we get reimbursed. So in our budget, we're gonna need to have that as an expense.
We're going to need the expense. We're also going to need an income. So I will
Okay.
create an income line. I'll tell me what y'all want to call it. We can. Or
Rental income.
Okay. And then that would be for, do we want, so then that brings my next question. Do we want a rental income and then a utilities? Or do we want everything coming under the rental and then we're expending out what we need to expend out in the other lines? One big bucket versus 2 paying buckets or 1 paying bucket?
One of each.
So
You could have a rental income and then rental expenses where you would have, under that rental, you would have your insurance, property taxes, electrical,
right.
whatever that goes with it.
So, yeah, no, that would be the easiest route is coming just one rental income and then the expenses broken down later down the line. I just didn't know if we wanted the rental income and then we wanted the income for them paying the utilities and then we expending out the utilities so you see it balances, or just leave it all in one. I guess I've known to make things overcomplicated.
I say keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
You can always expand upon it later. It's harder to get rid of that stuff once you've added it.
Yes, I would agree. So we're going to have a rental income, and then what do we want to call it? Just rental expenses? Or do we want to use the FEC electric?
Just use it as SEC electric.
So what do we want to project the electric to be?
Well, we already know it's more than 500 because it's 600
$5 to get started.
to
Yes.
just get started and get the meter put back on after they had it taken off after a year.
Is that contract been established for now?
Yeah, well, we still have to put the meter on.
But what,
We
Are they
haven't,
getting
we
the-
haven't approved
they
the
get the
rental.
whole building
agreement.
or just that back half?
They want the whole building.
And how much are they getting for that?
Well, we haven't decided yet. Right?
Okay, they want the whole building, that's different. And typically what are the terms of contracts in Texas? Rental contracts? What's typical term length? Like in California and Costa Rica, it's 3 years for both.
No, or it would probably be a year, what we'd probably be looking at, but, well, we have to talk to Lee about that and get that established. But as far as the electric in the building, regardless of how we do rent it, we've gotta have something budgeted for electric. And so, I mean, my electric bill. What is the electric bill here for the city hall?
It all comes out of one account with all of our other utilities. So
So have it
I
broke
can't
down into
imagine it's
three.
more than $100 a month.
that's where I was going to say $100 a month plus or whatever the 605 expenses.
And they don't got no AC.
Yeah, they've got the window unit. I don't want to say it's super efficient in there at the moment. They'll have those other appliances running, so maybe it could run a little more.
I'm thinking I need to call about my electric bill because it's not around.
At my house, I've got
mine's
a central
300.
AC unit and I have a mini split unit, 1,800 square foot. I'm paying $205 a month right now.
Commercial rates are higher though,
Yes.
so usually, I mean, ours are probably 50% higher, up to 70% higher than our residential
Okay,
rates. Up there.
so,
Get
Not
a
a
seat next
huge
to you
building.
there.
Right?
Well, Adam's shift.
it's hard to make an estimate, but if we
Sorry.
said, if we budgeted for, I mean, cause you don't have to spend it, but if we budgeted for say 4,800 for a year.
Mhm.
Then likelihood is hopefully it'll be less than that. And again, you know, we're talking about what we pay out if somebody's renting it and they're paying it, it's not actually coming out of our budget, we'll have income that offsets that.
Okay, so that doesn't sound bad. 4,800.
Then once we have a year of tracking, if it's
So
still
we have a trend to follow for sure.
dial it down a little bit.
And if we see we're it's a whole lot higher than that, which I really hope it's not, then we can always come back for a budget amendment. There's another one we want to look at. City website. I don't have that number yet. I'm working on that this week.
So, yeah, and it was 767.
Yes, and I believe that's going to be around the same. They haven't changed their rates,
Right.
so that'll be about what that is for the annual and the social media archiving put together.
All right, and then did you get a price on what our audit is gonna cost?
He's still trying to figure that out. I talked to him
Alright.
today about that.
So here's the issue that we have with the audit. It's at $1,250. My guess is that it probably should be higher than that.
I'm glad I could help. My goal is theoretic. We're gonna go. I'm sorry, my brain hurts today. We're gonna try to get 2 audits done this coming fiscal year, to get us
Okay.
closer to being caught up. The way the auditors are running for us during the summertime, they're no longer doing year-end audits, so they're doing the ones that are behind. That'll be us. If we are wrapping up 22's audit, so I don't know how close we'll get to being able to finish that before they get to year end.
Have they done 22 for us?
Not yet. That's what I'm waiting to hear. So 21, 22 for
So we got.
Yeah.
22, 23, and then we'll have 24.
it hurts. I know.
So-
$12.50 a pop.
That's
that
where I'm
roughly?
thinking that trend was $12.50 per audit. My goal, like I said, my goal is for the next fiscal year to get 2 up, to where then we are a whole lot closer to being.
Well, why don't we call it 1,300, just to round it up a little bit, and put in the budget for 3 years, $3,900. For the 3 three done.
I don't.
I mean, when I sit down and I have to deal with this mess and try and get it done, we might as well do it all at one time.
Yes.
So
yes.
that when I'm crying and
You all
needing
cry at one time and not have to share
hugs,
tears.
it'll just
Absolutely.
be one time, not 2 years in a row.
I don't disagree at all. I think that would probably be the smartest option, doing that.
I
Because on the
also,
off chance they can rock through all three of them in the next fiscal year, I'm game. I'll give them income, rummage through whatever they need to. They've been here the past few times, and it's been super helpful to actually have them physically here to see what I'm going through, so they're a little bit more understanding.
and then I had one other question. In 2023, $6,978 was paid for Teen North Texas. You know what that was?
Bathrooms. It was the restroom repairs.
Here in City Hall.
No, park. They did some upgrades to the restroom last year. It would have been September of 20.
Okay.
Yes, it had been around September of 23 when they came in and did it.
All right. And then Fork T&D Services, $375 twice. You know what that was?
What's the name of it?
Fork T&D wrote checks.
It's not ringing any bells to me, but like I said,
Okay.
23. That would have been before I was here, so I wouldn't have wrote those checks. So I would have to go back and research the history on it. But I bet I can find, if we obviously wrote checks, I can find some history, see if there's background on that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay, did
Any
we
other
finish the
questions?
last one? Did we decide we're just gonna put everything in job training on all those?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's put it all
I'm gonna
under one.
combine all of that, leave the same numbers, and put it in job training. I will have a nice, cleaned up, beautiful, less written up version.
All right. So
With that hidden
will you
button?
have that? Will you have that in 2 weeks? All right. So we will put that on our agenda for in 2 weeks to do a final approval of that.
So your
And
printer
then
doesn't go crazy.
You're not going to be here in 2 weeks.
Correct.
So if anything between now and then, you look at this and you go, you know what? I think this is important. Thinking about from a businessman's perspective and the budgeting, just let me know.
We'll do it.
Okay. All right. And in 2 weeks, we'll address that.
Number 10.
Okay, so, we're gonna table any decision on the budget, no action taken right now. And then number 10, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:01.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second to motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.
You know, they asked me to,
Hang on.
that's right. I can speak freely